The Lollipop FLM180 flat lollipop machine. This video is just to give some basic simple instructions on how to use the machine and what everything does. Basically we start with the Infeed rollers, which obviously feed the candy into the machine, which is self-explanatory. These work on an intermittent motion, which means stop-start. Now, should you need a fatter rope, we have this device here. By turning it that way, it will make the rope fatter, or that way it will make the rope thinner. Another way we can adjust this is when it works in an intermittent motion, we can make the driving stroke longer, so we get a little longer piece of candy. Now, the way we alter this is by altering the eccentricity on this cam here. So we loosen the bolt and we can slide in there, which will give a longer or a shorter stroke, so it gives us more weight of candy. Now when the candy comes in, it will actually be cut in here, which you can't see. There's a knife that revolves. The candy will be cut and then it drops into these little pockets here, which then transfer and drop into the moulds down there. Now, the piece doesn't want to be long and thin, because when it drops into here and then into here, it might not go in the mould correctly. It needs to be a cube shape, a slug, you know, equally the same in diameter and length, so it falls in the pockets nicely. And then when the plungers come down to form it, it forms it nice and equally. So the candy comes through here, it gets cut here. Now, you be very careful with that knife. Obviously it's guarded so you can't touch it, but be aware that there is a knife in there, and any fingers that do go in there will not last long if they go under the knife. Now, when you finish a batch, you will get a piece of candy that is left there in between the rollers here and the knife, which is behind here. So basically, after every batch, you need to just pull that piece of candy out. Now, the easiest way is to get a little hook or something, and you can just hook it and pull it out. You must remember to take that out, because if you don't, when you put the next batch through, it will push the hard candy through the knife and it will drop into the pockets, and it will drop into the forming mould and be pressed, which it will be hard, so it will crush it all, and it basically makes a mess. So that's something that is standard with these machines, and you need to remember. The little pot on the top of the machine here, that's for some oil to go in, and that oil actually oils the knife to stop the toppy sticking to the knife. The lollipop sticks are placed in here, dead simple. We just get a handful of sticks and place them in, fill it to the top. When the machine is turned on, it will revolve and it will pick a stick up in each of these slots and take it to the right position. You need to make sure that these slots are nice and free and there is no little pieces of toffee or anything stuck in them. The rotary die here, which will turn round slowly. I'll just turn the machine slowly. Now we can see there the knife going round. Can you see the knife in there? A bit of a shadow on it. There's the blade, the Infeed rollers going round in the intermittent motion. You can see how the candy would be taken down and it is pushed into the mould. Then as the carousel goes round, the plungers are pushed from above and below, and the candy is squashed to form the shape. Should you need any extra pressure on these plungers, we can adjust it by altering over there. As the candies come out, or the lollipops come out, these grippers will actually get hold of the stick, and then they transfer the lollies around here for cooling, which you will get a blast of air under here which will cool the base of the lolly, which will stop the lolly sort of folding in half. Any lollies that aren't formed correctly on the stick should basically fall off and will end up on this turntable and will fall out via this chute. The lollies are transported down this semi-cooler. They come round here and are sandwiched between two pieces of film. The first film coming from this lower roll holder and film coming from the top holder. The film is threaded through the rollers, as you will see on the manual. It goes through this revolving rollers and is threaded through the heater. The heater is controlled by the heater control, which is on there. The other heater, this one, is actually for the infeed rollers at the other end, and they will just heat up slightly to take the chill off the roller. So as the lollipops come round, they are sandwiched between the two pieces of film and heat sealed around the edges on here, and then the lollies are cut with this cutting device. Again, this is a knife for cutting the film, so don't get your fingers in there because they won't last very long. This will cut the film into the correct length, and then it will transport the lollies along here, and then at this point here the little grippers will open and drop the lolly down the chute, where you will collect them in a tray or have a conveyor to take them away. Basically, that is the machine. One thing to remember, or if you have a problem at this area here, where it transfers the lollipop from the forming section to the transfer section to the cooler, is that your timing here has to be pretty good. So as the stick comes round, these grippers need to be able to pick the stick up at the right time. Should this go out of time and we have to amend this, we need to change the relationship between the position of the plunger to the position of the gripper. How do we do this? Quite simple. We loosen a few bolts down here, and then we look at the this wheel here, where we have some Allen screws that are tightening up the drive to this transfer section. So if we basically loosen them, we can move the wheel round, because this is slotted, and it will actually change the relationship between this carrier section and the forming carousel. So that's how that's done. The next thing we need to know is about the print registration unit. Now basically we have the photocell there, which is looking at the registration mark. Now all registration marks for this film should be exactly the same. We can't have a film a little bit longer or a little bit shorter, because we're governed by the relationship between the centres that are on this sealing wheel here. We will give you this measurement, and then when you get film printed, please get it printed to this measurement. To work it, we just thread the top roll of film, which will be a printed film, around the rollers, and get the mark to register on the printed marks on the film, like you would with any standard wrapping machine. We turn the print registration on the control panel, where we have the optical signal switch. So we have the film in the right position, and we put the optical signal switch on, and as long as the marks are at the right distance, the film will register. When it does register, we'll get the flashing lights, which is this one and that one. That should flash sort of that one, this one, that one, this one. If they flash equally, we know the registration is good. If we see one flashing more than the other, we can see that the film is actually correcting in that direction. Basically, that is the main areas you need to know about this machine.